Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Sorry, the lighting's bad here. Okay, looks like people are hopping on. Good morning. How's it going? I'm Anna. I'm the writer at All Points North Lodge, and I'm at home right now because it's Saturday. And I just wanted to hop on and join you guys for some Saturday morning kind of just coffee and chats. I made some coffee, so I'm going to go ahead and pour that, and then we're going to head up to the roof and see what's happening there. So just so you know, if you guys have any questions, or even if you want to join me while I'm on here, I'd be happy to have you. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So feel free to hop on. But here's my little French press. So we're getting fancy. Yeah, so like I said, I'm the brand content writer, and I live in California. So I'm not on site at the lodge, so it is a little warm out here. So we're going to see what the California weather is like today. I heard it's supposed to be quite fancy. Are you guys drinking coffee this morning? Are you coffee drinkers? Are you tea drinkers? What's happening? Okay. So you may recognize me from the promo videos. It's me doing the promos. No, crazy, right? Okay, sorry, I've got to open the door with my phone here. Didn't think that one through. Okay. You may recognize me from the promo videos. My poor roommate just had to endure me on live with her while she walked in the door on a Saturday morning, but she didn't expect that. Yeah, so I've been doing the promo videos, which is really fun. Keith, our social media guy, who you met last week, has been doing an amazing job with these Instagram lives, and our biz dev people have been so fun. Why can't I remember which stairwell to go up? Thanks, Lori, you're sweet. So this is fun for me because I am typically the behind-the-scenes person, and I like that. I'm a big people person, but I actually worked as a dietitian for 3 years. And so I was on the front lines, like some of the clinicians here. I was on the front lines and got to counsel clients and be in this sort of everyday, grind with people. And I loved that, and I did moms and babies was my demographic. Hi, Lynette. And I'm embarrassed about how much energy it takes to walk and talk. Guys, I've been working out, I promise. But yeah, I got to work with moms and babies, and it was so fun to be able to counsel them and work with nutrition for like the beginning of life. Super cool. But there was something that was just aching in me to do something a little bit more creative. And so I switched over to writing. And I love it. Okay. All right. There's nobody on the roof. I checked. Okay, here we go. We're sneaking on the roof. Okay. You guys, we're rebels. We're on the roof. Okay. Is that music too loud? I'll sit over here. Is it bright? Can you see me? I can't see me. Sorry, I'm struggling. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'll just sit up here and chat. This is the view from my roof. Isn't it gorgeous? So if you look over here, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but you can see the ocean a little bit and then the mountains behind me, so I'm not mad about this whole thing. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me through that. But yeah, anyway, so I was working on the front lines with clients, and I was just aching to do something kind of more creative. And I started writing on the side and loved it. And started writing first about nutrition, obviously, but then really found a passion for mental health. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today, and just walk you through a little bit of my journey to what landed me here behind the scenes, working in a different field than I went to school for, which I'm sure if you're anything like me, you probably went through some of that as well. So, okay, so I'm going to kind of start from the beginning. And please, again, feel free to ask questions, sip your coffee, whatever. Okay, so mental health for me goes pretty far back in my story, I would say. I knew that mental health issues ran in my family a little bit. My dad had given me and my siblings a little bit of a heads up to say, like, hey, just so you know, both of your mom's side of the family line and my side of the family line have struggled with some mental health. So there's been some depression stuff, just like a heads up for that. And I think that was really valuable to me, to just know that, like, I don't know, you don't always get the perfect cards, but you do with them what you can, right? So I remember being a pretty nervous kid, and I just thought that was what it was like. I felt a little different than the other kids, and I was pretty aware that I was in my head pretty often, but I didn't know why that was. And I remember actually going to counseling one time and feeling like the counselor didn't get me at all. And so after that, I mean, I was a kid and I was like, oh gosh, even the professional doesn't know why my brain kind of runs crazy, so I'm just gonna leave this be. I just want to check the time. So I'm just gonna leave this be. And as I progressed through life, some things popped up, as they always do, right? So for me, my big thing was that my mom got sick with cancer when I was 8. And I remember after that feeling like that kind of tendency to worry really escalated. So I would have these crazy thoughts run through my head, and I felt in disconnect. I remember not really trusting my body because what was happening in my brain seemed so different than what I wanted to be happening. So I was like, I feel totally disconnected. And no one was able to tell me at that time that, like, hey, this is your tendency towards anxiety, trying to cope with grief and loss and all of that stuff. And so as trauma happened, that was just how my body kind of coped. And so I grew up, my mom passed away when I was 13, and I remember handling it actually pretty well. I think sometimes in our bodies there's a certain point that says, like, hey, you're not quite ready to handle this, and especially maybe as kids, and we stuff it down a little bit, right? And so I remember handling it pretty well, and then in college this crazy anxiety popped back up, and it came on the heels of being in a relationship and thinking about making a decision about forever. And I remember thinking, I'm terrified to lose someone, but this doesn't feel right. But I couldn't let go because I was so afraid of losing someone. And, eventually realized, like, okay, this is a struggle in relationships, sure, but it's also this tendency to want to really cling to people while we have them that maybe came from my mom as a kid, right? And so there was a time in college where my anxiety was really crippling. I was pretty good at school, but I was pushing back tests because I couldn't focus. I went from this like very peppy, kind of excited, life of the party sort of personality to like not having anybody around me because I was just known as kind of the sad girl. And it was crushing. It was crushing to be like, okay, I have all this stuff that I'm dealing with, and I feel like I'm too much for people. And I didn't have anyone saying, hey, this is anxiety again. So I just thought this is me. I even one time remember talking to my dad. I pulled over to the side of the road in Kentucky. I pulled over to the side of the road, called my dad, hysterically crying, and said, I think I'm going crazy. Like, I don't know what this is. I must be going crazy. And my sweet dad tried to comfort me, but he didn't know, and he couldn't say you're not going crazy. And that was a crushing moment for me. And thankfully, right after that phone call, I made a phone call to who I refer to as my pseudo mom, kind of my mentor growing up. And she said, Anna, these are the symptoms of anxiety. And that breath of fresh air through me was the breath of fresh air that, like, hey, you're not alone in this. This is because of something. It's not your identity. It's something that you struggle with, and maybe even down the road it was a diagnosis that I got. And that breath of fresh air, that hope instilled in me, is why I love mental health, and I love getting to write for All Points North Lodge, because I get to offer that hope and that help, that breath of fresh air that, hey, I'm here for you. This company is here for you. These clinicians are here for you. You're not alone. You're not crazy. You're struggling with something. And that is why I love what I do. And so I became very passionate about mental health. I started medicine a few years later, and medicine changed my life. And counseling combined with medicine has been the thing that feels like it set me back to my normal, the normal that I never knew before. And so I'm just so grateful to work here, and so grateful. My favorite part of my job, probably selfishly, is that I get to interview the clinicians. Check the time again. I'm running a little long, but you guys made coffee with me at the beginning, so I'm just gonna keep going. Okay. I get to interview the clinicians about what they know, which is so cool for me, because I spent so long wanting to understand what made me different, what made my brain work a little funky. And now that I know there's so many people who struggle with anxiety, there's so many people who struggle with depression and substance abuse and all of these things, to get to hear kind of the inner workings of that brain that I always wondered about, and translate that for people and offer hope to people in the form of a blog or an ad, as silly as that sounds, or a commercial or whatever it is so valuable to me, to get to kind of stand in the gap of hurt to help. And so when I started writing as a dietitian, I had a blast, but there was something kind of that I was like, this is cool, but this isn't where my soul sits, I guess. And so when I was looking for a writing job, I was like, this is what I want to do, this is my passion. And I found All Points North Lodge, and I remember sitting down with Noah, the CEO, and thinking, okay, like, I want to write, but I don't want to market something that I don't believe in, so I need to know if this is legit. Like, is this guy, you know, here to sell a cool product, or is he here to help people? And I sat down with him in Malibu as he cast this vision for offering comprehensive care to people in need of hope and help, and offering the best technology and the best clinicians and trauma integrated care to go back to the root and start to help the symptoms, because we're helping the root cause. And I was sold. And I was even more sold when I was able to go to All Points North, the Rise Immersive Workshop, and be able to experience that care for myself. I did not know that counseling like this existed. I thought counseling was just talk therapy, and that's been valuable to me. But I'm not lying. At Rise, I experienced the type of progress that I had been just like longing for, and this trauma therapy that helped me identify patterns in my life and why they came up. And so that now that when those patterns come up in my life, I can look at them and say, hey, this is a response. This is a trauma response from something I went through as a kid. Let me think about this. Let me switch my reaction and move forward from there. That's what healing looks like. And so it's just a joy for me to be able to do that. Yeah, I'm a marketer, but I don't really consider myself a marketer, because I write about things that I believe in, and if I didn't believe in it, I couldn't write about it. And so it even feels silly to call myself a marketer, because I just want to kind of tell the world about things that offer hope. And you know, for me, that's my faith, and that's counseling, and it's therapy, and it's medicine, and there's beauty in the hurt because there's healing there. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I exist. That's why All Points North Lodge existed, and it's been so fun to be able to kind of shape the messaging of All Points North Lodge, to offer that help and that hope to you guys, to the clients that come in, to people who don't follow the Instagram page yet. And yeah, I'm just so thrilled to be a part. I can't wait to see what happens. It's been crazy instrumental in my life already as a staff member. So the stories coming out from the clients are just so cool. Just seeing a couple of reviews and hearing people's stories, and this is life-changing. We're not messing around. We're not, it's not just a luxury place. This is like, people come here for life change, and I think that's why I love it so much. Anyway, I didn't even sip my coffee, but to that, I'll sip my coffee, and thanks for joining me for my little soapbox. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And again, sorry for the beginning. I thought the coffee thing would be a little bit, more like, oh, cute, it's coffee in the morning with Anna. But it didn't go quite as smoothly as I wanted it to. So anyway, thanks for joining me for my story, and share yours. Reach out. I'd love to chat with you. You can message us on social media. You can message us on the contact form on the website. We care about your story and are excited to help at whatever part of the journey